Today seemed like it could be peaceful, but things aren't always how they seem. Things were about to get really bad. Earlier that day, I had made my way to Whiterun. There was some very simple business I needed to take care of. I ran into the local stableman right outside the city gates. He was telling me that he heard rumors of ancient beasts flying overhead attacking cities.
The safest way to travel.
I thought nothing of it and I continued into the city. As I approached the main entrance, the guards seemed to be on high alert. They were coming right at me. I threw my hands up.
Order of the yard. Stop right there.
I didn't know what they want from me, so I decided to just go with them.
You're going to rot in the Dragon's Reach dungeon.
I woke up in a prison cell. I was knocked unconscious. I knew this was going to be bad. They didn't even clear out the dead body from last time. I tried to hail a guard, but he didn't even pay attention to me. Finally, the guard had approached me. He said nothing and turned away, so I planned my exit strategy. I found a loose knife off of the dead body. These guards were lazy. I decided to bide my time and rest and wait for nightfall. I woke up and I went for my knife. I knew the guards weren't going to pay attention, so I started picking the lock myself. And just then, I heard something outside. I knocked unconscious one of the guards and grabbed his sword. I continued to fight my way out. All that was left was the warden, and I had to get my stuff back. But the rumbling outside kept getting worse. He fell to the ground, and I knew I could not leave mercy. I had done it, but I needed to find my gear. I opened another cell door to find some chests. This had to be where my stuff was. I broke out of the dungeon and saw sunlight, but what I heard was far worse. A beast was flying overhead attacking the city. The guards trying their best to fend it off. And I needed to equip my gear. The dragon breathed fire and I tried to take shelter. I took out my blade, but what can I do from the ground? I found a fallen guard on the ground and I grabbed his bow. It was a composite bow, but it would have to get the job done. The beast loomed overhead. I was now fighting side by side with the guards that just locked me up. We fired many arrows to fell the beast, but it was of no avail. The city burned and the guards fell one by one. What could I do? I ran to the front of the city gates and kicked them open. The beast still looming overhead, I could see arrows flying into its wings. There were now 2 of them. Everyone started to scatter, so I did the only thing I could do. I ran for shelter. I took refuge in the mountains and the forest, hoping that they could not see me from overhead. After a while of hiding, I didn't hear any more screams. I just saw a burning wretch in the distance. Did I feel bad for abandoning the fight? I didn't know what I felt, but I knew I couldn't be labeled a coward. As days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, I once again found myself at the foot of Windhelm's entrance. There were no guards on the outside, which was strange, but I needed to find some place to sleep. I went inside and witnessed a tragic scene. Guards burnt. It seemed like the dragon had struck here as well. I found a mercenary and hailed him down. He mentioned something about the notice board. I approached it and read one of the letters it had listed. There was a note about a dragon bounty. I ripped the bounty off the wall and accepted it. The bounty mentioned that there was a dragon at the Ancient's Ascent, north of Helgen. I walked out of Windhelm and knew this journey was going to be long. Instead, I found the local stableman and he offered me a ride to Helgen. I found my way to the waypost. I needed the signs to know where I was heading. I continued north up the road until I could find the ruins. Once I made it past the ruins, I knew I was almost there. I began to scale up the narrow side of the mountain. I was getting close to the summit. I can feel the spirit of the mountain. I made my way up those stone stairs, feeling the spirit of the mountain. I saw the dragon rise up, and near it, demon lords. I had to make quick work of these demon lords. I grabbed onto one and kept swinging until its brittle bones exploded in my hands. The dragon was right in front of me. I saw my opportunity and sprinted right at it, its cold breath against my blade. I grabbed on and just kept swinging. Just before the dragon can slay me, I grabbed my bolt and electrified its blade, cutting the dragon down to size. Its skin burnt and melted away as I felt its power emanate around me. I then approached a strange obelisk. I could feel its power calling out to me. The faint magical lines drew me in. I can sense something strange. I can feel power emanating through my gauntlets as I sense something nearby, rested on top of a chest with a dragon's firebrand blade. The tip of the blade had cracked off, but I could still feel the power emanating inside this blade. Days later, I returned to Whiterun. Most of the town had been destroyed. Its populace had been decimated. But its properly named capital, Dragon's Reach, was intact. I ran up the stairs. I had to talk to someone. I must know what happened to the dragon. I visited the court wizard. He let me know that they were able to fight off one of the dragons, but the other fled. I showed him the blade, the dragon's bane. He cursed at me, letting me know that the dragons were drawn to that sword. He instructed me to take the blade out of the city and destroy it in a volcano. I ran outside and opened the doors. And just as I was running down the stone stairs, the unthinkable happened. An elder dragon began flying around over town. I blocked its fire, the blade absorbing most of it. I had to lure this dragon outside of the city. As it flew overhead, I sprinted towards the main gates. I ran outside into the field. I found the remains of the first dragon that they had taken down. The other one still flying over the town, but I knew it was drawn to my blade. I lit it and let it know that I was ready to fight. I rushed right at it. Its fire breathed against the blade. I continued to swing. The battle raged on. I continued to block the flame from the dragon. Before I swung, the dragon smashed the sword. I couldn't believe it. The blade that was supposed to be able to destroy the dragon shattered in front of me. Time seemed to slow down as I leapt at the dragon, putting the blade right in its throat. The beast reeled and fell down before me. I gave it the final shot just to be sure. I absorbed the dragon's power. I had done it. The beast was slain before me, but the great blade was shattered. Its power scattered across all of Skyrim. But in the end, I was satisfied. I had restored glory back to my name. Psh, I'm no coward.